Balance and Ball.
Welcome to the Balance and Ball podcast. Today I want to introduce myself by saying what I'm grateful for. I am grateful that the international break is over. My male period is now over. I'm back. And here we have to my right, Rodrigo, introduce yourself.
Yes. How's everyone doing? I'm Rodrigo. You can call me Roddy. At Roddy's Realm. You know how it goes. I'm here, the odd one out in this group today. But yeah, it's all balanced anyway. We keep it humble. And below me is my big brother.
Hey, hi everyone.
Welcome, Pablo.
Thank you for having me, guys. My name is Pablo. I'm that one's brother. And, yeah,
you would never tell by looks, but
nah, but footballing sense, I'm the Arsenal fan. You're the Tottenham fan. So
We know where the sense went, yeah.
I got the brains, you got the looks.
Oh gosh, you know what funny. Yeah, good morning, Aidan Johnson. Hello. Thank God the international break is over. We can finally wake up from this slumber. BMI still 35. Gym's reopen in 2 weeks' time. Thank you. And yeah, looking forward to today's podcast. It's going to be fun. I see Ken working the new Arsenal merch up top. How's that £35 hat doing for you?
All right, let's kick this off. I'm going to go to the guest to start this off, right? You ready for this one, Pablo?
Yep.
What do you think the state of the transfer market is in?
I think this year you're going to see the biggest gap in terms of like the biggest clubs, because you'll see the likes of City, Paris Saint-Germain, and them lot that will be able to still splash the cash. And then you've got teams like ourselves, Tottenham as well. I think they'll be in the same boat as us, that will really struggle to sort of buy players, and they're going to have to be really savvy in the transfer market and try and sort of catch all the deals that they can rather than just go out and splash the cash. I don't expect too many big players coming in for many clubs apart from Chelsea, City, United, your usual suspects.
What do you guys think? I'll go to you, Adrian, about the loan market. Is there like a, I don't know, stigma attached to loan markets anymore?
Yeah, I think there is, especially where certain clubs like Chelsea actually have a loan squad, which actually loan players to other teams. I think that market will be exacerbated this season. I think that's going to be the main market, to be honest. This is Corona season, and the finance have been in this season, and there is no more government help for clubs to do what they need to do. So I do expect that the loan market will be used quite a lot. And even saying that, let's be honest, like there are a lot of great players out there who will be going free in the season, and because clubs are using the coronavirus as a reason not to give these players extra money, they'll only go to the highest bidder, and that's I feel it's gonna happen for the next transfer. And to be honest, a lot of quality players will be leaving their clubs just to chase money, to look after their families, look after the bread and butter, and that's going to happen. I think families will prioritize over football after this transfer market because certain players like Depay, Ronaldo, their contracts up. And when they're looking at their counterparts around them on bigger money because they were able to sign their contract prior to COVID, it's going to be a mess for choosing the next club. What do you think, Rodrigo?
me, I think loan will be the main source of transfers this summer. Especially, I feel like you said, unless you got oil money, you're not really going to be able to spend. And they've just recently scrapped the financial fair play, didn't they? And then so that's given those clubs the license to go and spend the money they do have, whereas other clubs, you know, like the rest of us, will have to be clever in what we do, player swaps and loans. You know, there won't be much money being spent like that anyway. But I feel like the loan moves will still be key.
You hit the nail there, like with being clever, Rodrigo. What role do you think that youth players can play in the coming transfer market?
A huge role, man. I think this is the time for the youth players to make their mark in their teams, man, because where players ain't going to be able to spend more, we're going to have to look to develop more players. And at a time where England's producing a lot of hot talent, I think it's a good
Couldn't
time
agree
for
more.
them to, start showing the managers what they can do, getting in the first team. And I expect to see that I hope to see that from Tottenham, because there is some players I would like to bring up. You know what I mean? Instead of going spending the money on. And I'm sure you guys feel the same. You lot got a lot of young talent that you still can bring through, and you don't really need to go and spend money on.
Pablo, is there anyone in our academy that you'd like to see come through anytime soon?
Yeah, Aziz, I'm really looking forward to seeing him.
Excellent.
I think Aziz is going to be a baller, absolute baller. And centre midfield is one of the places I think we still need to sort of strengthen on. But going back to what Rod said, I think the youth in general is going to be really utilised by these teams. You look at Arsenal, we've already started breeding them through as we speak. So I think we will be okay in that department, because our young players some of the young players we've got coming through are just ridiculous. We ain't even giving Martinelli a shout this season, have we? Imagine when he starts sort of coming into the team. You've got Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli. All these players are just phenomenal, really. Absolutely phenomenal.
Excellent. I'm a big fan of that Aziz guy as well. I've already seen clips of him, but he just looks special. And when I see players like that, it makes me not want my club to invest heavily in the transfer market. It makes me grateful that we're in this period where finance is restricted and we have to maneuver in different ways. So, Aidan, I'll speak to you about, what do you think about giving players over 30 contracts at clubs these days?
Yeah, the myth of players declining rapidly at 30 is gone. The way they look after their bodies, I think they should give a big contract still for 4 years at age 30. I don't. You remember how Arsene Wenger used to when a player reached 30, he used to give him a 1 year. You can't do that anymore, because if you look at examples like Ronaldo, still a beast. He trains well, diet's different. Medical science has improved greatly now to where it was back in the day. The risk of a 30-year-old player declining so rapidly for 1 year, that's out the window now. And now it seems like we used to think like a big contract at 28, players will hold out for that big contract, and then at 28 get the 14, 32. Those days are over. From 30 to 31 years old, you can expect at least a 3-year to 2-year contract. I hate to say this. Look at Willian. He got a 3-year deal from us. How old is he now?
That's a terrible deal, though.
That's a terrible example.
Wait, no, is it a terrible example though? Is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
I'll tell you why it's not a terrible example. It's a good example, because it shows that if you're a player at a club and you're in your 30s, you can get a contract. Your primary club will probably offer you a 1-year deal, like what Wenger used to do. But your agent knows if he can go across the road or another club, he can get you a 3-year deal. A player these days at 30 can get a 3-year deal for a big salary rather, because they're coming on a free. What do you guys say about
Jamie Vardy?
In terms of players, that works for the players, but I think for the club, it doesn't work. So let's just say Arsenal, for an example.
Okay.
You look at some of the over 30 players that we've sort of given big contracts to, over the past. Ozil, how did that go? Aubameyang, that's not exactly showing great things at the moment.
Nice.
You've got William. So it can work, but also it's not as good and it's bad.
It just depends on I think it depends on what the player's doing for the club. You know what I mean? If he's still putting in performances, giving you numbers, then you can't really complain. But when you're stuck with a player over 30 that ain't doing fuck all for you, and then he's on high wages, you can't sell him. No one's gonna buy the player over 30 for that sort of price, because you put him on silly wages. You're sort of stuck with him. I'm seeing a lot of players being stuck at clubs because, for one, they don't want to move because they know they're not going to get a higher wage anywhere else. And the club can't sell because of their age and the higher wage they're on, which makes it a bit difficult. Unless you're Ronaldo or something who's going to bring in some a marketing bit, he doesn't.
Brings his own market, innit?
Yeah, brings his own market.
And through the struggle and through the financial struggles as well at the time that we're going through, you don't want to invest your money on an over 30-year-old because you're not going to get any money back for it. So that's the reason why I don't agree with too much with big contracts for over 30s.
Okay, so it's the big contract. But then what if clubs are looking at it from a financial point, like you just said, and they're saying if we are to replace this guy, he's over 30, we can't sell him because he won't leave, right? He knows if he doesn't sign a contract, he can just leave on a free and get a massive contract because he's leaving on a free. So clubs thinking, okay, if we're going to replace this guy that's going to leave on a free, it's going to cost what 50 million outlay, and then on top of that, wages. So in that sense, they're probably thinking it is actually cheaper to keep him here, and for continuity purposes, he knows the system, knows the flow already. I think that's why clubs are leaning towards keeping guys at the club.
Who's over 30 in your is Lacazette over 30?
Lacazette is the one. Lacazette's the one that is coming up this summer, and like
Luiz as well.
Like
David Luiz
as well.
Like for instance, Lacazette is someone I would give a contract to. David Luiz is someone I wouldn't.
How about you, Pablo? Wait, why wouldn't you give to David Luiz?
Because hold on,
I would.
But hold on, because
I would.
Luiz, I feel like David Luiz, as he gets older, I don't know. I can't see him being as much help as as Lacazette could be. For instance, because I feel like you're not desperate in that position. For one,
I feel. Okay, go on.
You got.
Say that's my bad.
Yeah, and then like with like for instance, I think a centre back nowadays is probably easier to replace than a good centre forward.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I mean? There ain't. It's for you to go and get a good centre forward now. You need to spend money. Do you know what I mean? Or unless you got one on the come up. Personally, it seems like you lot do with that Balogun guy, but
does he want to stay?
That's the thing. But him with Lacazette's contract going, maybe he might. If they could convince him to stay, maybe I don't know, innit? But I feel like Lacazette, I don't know. He's more of a player that you'll need right now than what Luiz. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you can find someone to replace Luiz in a good deal. Well, I don't know, man.
So what like a player control?
Pablo, were you about to jump in? But
no, I was going to say I think Luiz is a player that we should keep. I actually think we should keep him because what he brings to the team is not just on the pitch. Because I think it's actually been solid, absolutely solid this season. He's had a couple of little bad games where he's made a mistake, but that's just in him.
Normal.
But it's just normal for him. But from what like you hear from like all the social medias and players talking and stuff like that, is a big character in the changing room. And he actually helps the majority of the young players that are coming through. Even Tini said that he's one of the people that sort of put his arms around him and sort of helped him to settle at the club and gives him advice and stuff like that. There was rumours going around that we was going to give him like a sort of coaching role, as player coach role thing. That could work.
No, I like that. I like this. You made a good point because I've noticed it just from looking at the social medias that he's a well-liked guy within the squad. And what I would say with Rod's point was we've not given it to him. The only reason I wouldn't would be to protect players like Saliba, who I feel like can produce well for Arsenal. I don't want players being blocked at Arsenal. I feel like recently, especially in the last few years, we've done that. We've bought players and it's blocked young players' progression into the squad. William's another example of that. But Aidan, do you have anything to chime in right now?
Well, say looking children's young players into the squad, are they good enough is question number one. And as we have found with a lot of Arsenal youth system, when they've left the club, they haven't really excelled in the way we want them to excel. And the David Luiz thing, I do think he should be given him a contract, but more as a coaching role. But to be honest, if you had him as a rotation player, like lower his wages, he's on the bench, he's helping young kids progress. I see no harm in that. But players like when Willian came, I was pretty gutted for Nelson because he did play well. Like, even players like Balogun and Ketia, I know we've got great strikers at the club, but their playing time has been limited quite significantly recently due to us performing badly. Let's be honest, if Arsenal play better, then there's more chance of youth players getting the try because the team's molded, they've got a system, they know how to play. But unfortunately, because we haven't been playing that well, we've had to stick with senior players. And Arteta, like Lampard, could risk losing his job by playing the kids too much. And Lampard had a reason to.
I think that's what saved you, lot, to be honest, by playing the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe and all that. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's a few more players we could have thrown in there, but because of the likes of Willian and Aubameyang's there, and LACAZETTER, obviously some of them are not gonna. But I say Smith Rowe and Saka definitely two that has helped bringing in, but.
So those two, it kind of remember Willock was ahead of them, and he was doing well some games. And they've had the chances. They've had the chances. Like Nketiah, like he's good, but I don't. And when I see Balogun play for under 23s, he picks up the ball from deep, drives at players, powerful, strong, fast. He needs to get his shot, but because the whole contract scenario, he hasn't got his time yet. So it's a hard one, but I do think that. Because of the current financial market, youth is the way forward for all teams. If you're at the club, you played for years at this club, you know the system in and out, why you're not starting, you should have your chance.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
So, yeah, the only thing that really shocked me Arsenal is we don't have another left-footed left back coming through the under 23s, under 21s, because that's what it's designed for, to have a backup for your starting left back or right back. For some reason, we still don't have that right now. Looking at Lamptey, right back to Brighton, but do you have the funds for that? I don't think so. But
if Arsenal scouting was up to scratch, though, they could have got him from Chelsea when he left for like 4 million. I think he only had like one Premier League appearance, and it was like, I don't know. I think it was against Arsenal. He came on, and his one job was to stop Aubameyang, and he did it. He's swift, but I don't get the Lamptey hype though. Like, he's undersized and he can't cross like the elite right backs in the league. So what is the hype of Lamptey? But we'll discuss Lamptey another time. But Pablo, I want to talk to you about Lacazette. Like, would you give him a new contract?
It's tough. It depends on what's happening sort of behind closed doors with Balogun, with Martinelli as well, because I'm hearing that the reason why Martinelli hasn't been starting many games is because he's trying to play him through the middle up front. That is kind of what he's trying to turn him into a central striker. Even on their training videos as well, if you look, he's always down the middle. So I don't know whether this is a long plan by Arteta to push him into the middle in case Lacazette goes. But me personally, I like Lacazette. I actually like him. I think he'd bring something different to Aubameyang. Like, in my starting lineup, I'd have Lacazette start tonight instead of
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
So I think he deserves a contract to stay.
I'm saying, quick question for you,
go on.
If a bid coming for Aubameyang, a nice bid.
Oh,
50
don't
mil.
say it. You're trying it. You're trying it. You're trying it.
Would you take it? I'll be honest, bro. I'll be honest.
I'm not going first.
Why, because I feel like the likes of Martinelli and that, like, I feel like the only reason you're trying to play him as a centre forward is because you got the likes of Aubameyang there, and I feel like I don't know, man. Sometimes
how nice a bid? How nice a bid?
It's better with Lacazette in the centre.
But I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? Martinelli and Saka on the wings like that. You got. That's a very scary, like, potent wing, bro. If you put like Odegaard and Smith Rowe between that, do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like because of the likes of Willian and and certain players over 30, like you're saying, he's holding back on making that a thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, with Martinelli, because he's been quite injury prone, I feel like he's trying to protect him. I bet he's cold. Like he's. I don't know how many nights didn't sign him when he did. But to be honest,
but I feel like Martinelli, right? He does need to improve on his passing. That's the one thing he needs to improve on. I think that's why maybe he is trying to put him to the center so he doesn't have to pass so much. Because when on the wing, I think the last game he did play, last major game he did play before he went on his hiatus.
Chelsea.
I think it was it Chelsea or Man United? It was a big game.
Chelsea.
When
he ran through the pitch. Yeah, Chelsea.
No, this season.
This season was. He didn't. I can't remember what game he played.
It was a big club, and then he got replaced at half time by Willian. You guys,
yeah,
I think Man United.
It was Man United. I'm pretty certain it was Man United.
Yeah,
but what happened was,
have a very good game.
Yeah, he was dribbling around the area, and I think he made a misplaced pass, got dispossessed, and Arteta was like, "No," and we didn't see him after that. I thought that was a fair substitution because for long, as brilliant as Martinelli is, he does need to work on his passing and keeping possession of the ball, and that will get him into the team. Apart from that, there's no one that, not even Lacazette, can match his work rate. He's a special kid, Martinelli, and I do look forward to getting him in the team. But just on this Lacazette, I'm going to show you this graphic that I came across.
I feel like Lacazette's a big game player. I love seeing Lacazette. He's just a brute, man. He's a brute, man. I love that.
His hold-up play is probably second.
I know people laugh saying it's twerking all the time on other people, but it works.
It works.
All right, guys, can you see the screen?
Yeah, the players are swearing though.
All right, so which player would you give a contract to? Player A or player B?
Okay, all right. Okay.
All right.
It's got to be player B.
Yeah, it's got to be player B.
Player B?
Yeah, that's Lacazette.
Right.
I already know that's Lacazette.
It's my
I can see the stats. That's
I already know that's Lacazette. Are they both
same player? Both the same guy.
What?
So what? I don't understand what you done there.
Okay. So what happened was
the metrics.
What happened was, right? This is how people manipulate stats to build their agenda. So there's this guy I used to listen to. His name's Arsblog. You may know him, Pablo. I've listened to him, read him a lot, and he hates. I don't think he's a big fan of Lacazette. So yesterday in his blog, I checked it, and he says Lacazette in his last 15 games has scored 4 goals. So I went and fact checked this, and it's true. He has scored 4 goals, but he's also put 3 assists. And he's also got 130 minutes per goal in assists, which is the best at Arsenal. I'll show you.
It's cold. I don't see why there's even debate about it.
This is what he said. I've seen people suggest we should give Lacazette 1-year extension, and that just doesn't make much sense to me. Where's this? What's this doing there? Just kicks down the can down the road. I mean... Not for me.
Again, everyone has their agenda, and you can say that he doesn't, and people can like players for whatever reason, but facts is facts. Okay, let's get this straight. When I see Lacazette play, he runs down the middle, and he tells the left wing and the right winger where to go and how to chase down the man and how to stop these avenues. That's the one part of the game I love to see. And he drops back, he does his job, and he's physical when we need that. But still, they have their agendas, isn't it?
What I would say about Lacazette, if you're gonna see, there's ways you can look at a player. You can look at it like I said, there's the stat view. We could look at his stats and we could just look at it by eye in it and see how he's affecting the game. And I think he affects the game in more ways than what the stats show. If you know what I'm saying.
He almost reminds me of one of them centre midfielders, like a little bit like Gilberto Silva back in the days, where he didn't do nothing fantastic, nothing like his stats itself wouldn't have looked great, but him when he wasn't in the team, we was a completely different team.
He passed the eye test.
Yeah. So I think that is Lacazette. He's basically like he does all the dirty.
Jordan Henderson.
Exactly. Even Firmino.
As
well.
Firmino.
He doesn't play in goals.
And these players, they're like glue. They bind the team together, and without them, the spirit of the team is lost. So if you look at this graphic, right, these are the last 15 games. So if you take the man's stat, last 15 games, this is it. But if you break it down per minute, Lacazette is outperforming Aubameyang, he's outperforming Saka, he's outperforming Pepe. all in the last 15 games. He's playing less minutes for them and he's contributing. This guy has to be given a new contract.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
That's a solid argument. That's a solid argument.
yeah, he does. He does.
What,
I think you should hashtag this and send it to him.
with Man City just losing their striker, you know what I mean? Not giving Lacazette another contract could.
Yeah. And Pep did. Wouldn't Pep just say?
I could see. I think he'll do well at City as well. That's
He'll
the
do
thing
well.
about it.
He would do well. He would do
Yeah,
well.
I feel
Problem
like
as well is who would you get in replacement if you don't sign him? If he goes, it's like
that's what I'm saying. You
like
got to spend. You got to spend a lot of money,
big. You got to spend big.
or try and get
But
Aguero.
to play devil's advocate, if they said to you, Lacazette is a reason why Balogun won't sign a 4-year deal, would you then rethink a contract negotiation?
Yeah.
Rethink, yeah. I'll think about it, but then I'll think about it. But then, you see, the thing is with me, right? Oh no, Pablo, you may disagree with me on this. Like, I don't see the need for Odegaard in this team. I like him and I love him in this team, but the word need is a bit too strong for me. I don't think we need him. It's a bit like if you check the stat when Odegaard plays in the number 10 and when Smith Rowe plays in the number 10, we're more dynamic with Smith Rowe in that position. And another thing is, like, I know people say, oh, what if Smith Rowe gets injured? What if Smith Rowe gets injured? What are we going to do in the number 10 position, right? Well, I like my managers to be a bit more flexible. Like, if you see what happened to Maddison at Leicester, he got injured, right? They don't have a like-for-like replacement. So what did they do? They put in Iniacho, change the system, and they keep on rolling. You don't always have to swap like-for-like. Be flexible. Bring in Balogun, play him up front with Lacazette. Bring in... Why does it have to be Balogun or Lacazette? Why can't it be both? That's my point of view.
So I even watched Gareth Southgate. Mason Mount and Foden played together, yeah?
So the thing is, Arsenal actually tried. They tried putting Lacazette in that position. They've tried putting William in that position. Yeah, Smith Rowe's brilliant. His stats probably is better than Odegaard's playing in that system. But Smith Rowe is really, like you said earlier, is really injury prone. Really injury prone. So the problem is like, for example, Liverpool. We got Liverpool today.
Right.
Yeah? Smith Rowe ain't in the squad, I should imagine, yeah, because of his injury or whatever. Who are you going to play if you haven't got Odegaard? Yeah? You don't actually have a player that can play in that position.
I get it. I do get it. And I do love Odegaard. Do not get it twisted, Pablo, or anyone else out there. I do love Odegaard. It's just that I personally wouldn't have done it, especially because we was trying to court Balogun to a new contract. Why are we signing an attacking player? Which essentially he's got no minutes after Odegaard's been come to the club.
With no guarantees.
Do you know what, yeah? As a rival fan, yeah, I really hope, really hope you do not get Odegaard, bro. I'll be honest.
He's different class.
I'll be so honest.
He is.
This boy is
different class.
ridiculous, bro. He could be like the best in the world in his position. Do you know what I mean? And do you feel like he's going to hamper Smith Rowe's progress?
I thought that.
No, I don't think he will.
I don't think he will. I think we'll elevate him.
I've seen Smith Rowe getting pushed to the left side now.
Yeah.
When Odegaard.
But he dominated against Tottenham on the left. It worked on left against
It's
Tottenham.
working. It's working. Let's say it's working.
Against Doherty, I wouldn't put that as a high. You know what I mean?
That's a benchmark.
You might want to test that against better right backs first before you make a judgment on that, bro. But no, fair enough.
I don't know. I personally, I'd sign him. I've got to be honest. I'd sign him. I think he's going to be world class. Like Rod said, probably one of the best in his position. Yeah, and if he does turn out like that, or even if he doesn't come up to the levels that we're thinking, he's got sell-on value.
Yeah.
If it's not working out, or someone's coming through the system that is actually better or getting to his level, you can sell him on for millions and millions of pounds. Look at Saka. It's Smith Rowe, all these players, we could sell these players for millions. We've never had. Well, we haven't had that in years. We normally get rid of players for free, yeah, or we pay them out.
On Pablo's point, to add to Pablo's point, Arsenal's highest transfer fee out is still Iwobi. What is that thing? Iwobi is still a high transfer out of the club.
When you tell me that,
Ozil, Ramsey.
That's crazy. Seriously.
No, but do you know who was before that?
Overmars.
No, was it Chamberlain?
Nah, Chamberlain.
Overmars, 35.
It was Overmars, 35 million.
Chamberlain went for 40.
No, he didn't want for 30.
Yes, he did. It was Chelsea for 35 million. Then Liverpool came in and were like, no, extra 5 million for you guys because you're Liverpool.
No, he went for 30.
Let's
He went for
Google
30, I think.
it. Let's Google it.
Yeah, let's Google it because I'm sure
Let's go with the racing.
that Overmars was still like, this is only a few years ago. Overmars was like our highest sort of transfer.
Whoa.
The highest
It
player we
was.
sold.
Oh, yeah. Oxford's him was 35 million.
And that, yeah. And
35,
did he
okay.
overtake?
35, this ain't new.
35. Oh, my bad. My bad.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you're talking. I mean, Overmars shouldn't even be coming into this conversation.
No.
How many years has it been since he's played for us?
And how many players have we sold? Like, you're talking about Van Persie, Henry. Those guys left, and we got silly money.
Emmanuel Adebayor, Ramsey,
Adebayor.
Sanchez, Ozil,
Adebayor's pants, man.
Shamak.
Shamak.
Hey, Adebayor's a legend, man.
Bednar.
He's a legend.
Bender, best striker in the world in his head.
Fucking hell, bro. I didn't even realise that. That's a bit.
Look, you
That's
think
poor,
about
that's
it,
poor
yeah?
female. That's poor female from your board, though, man.
Yeah.
But this is why it winds me up when people get on Arteta's back at the moment, yeah? Because we've been put in this position, not now. It's been happening for years and years and years, yeah? We haven't made money from players. This is why our bank is so dry as well. You look at Liverpool, well, even actually, let's go Tottenham. When you sold Bale, yeah, when you sold Modric and stuff like that, you make money. Leicester sold all their, like,
Leicester do well.
Even Ericsson.
Maguire for 80 million, bro.
Maguire for 80 million. That's what I'm saying. Like, we haven't, last saying, every top sort of 18 can name a player that they've sold for a lot of money or done clever business with. We can't.
You know who does shit business? No,
I mean, to add to that,
But that's good business, though. Imagine 40 million for Iwobi. Oh, my Lord.
That's what I'm saying. Things are changing. Things are
Splendid.
changing. You look at what he's done. He's got rid of all the high paid players, the old ones that were the German clique. Got rid of all of them. Like, I'm talking about the board in general now. Since they've taken over 100% ownership, I'm starting to see a change on the board and how they're sort of heading towards for the future of the club.
Oh, that's interesting because I did want to talk about the Cronkies on that. Do you want to come back on the show for that one, Pablo?
Yeah. I'll be happy to.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
on that point, I think
Right.
Brentford have made more money than Arsenal selling players. Brentford, and their business model is ridiculous. And the way they
Brentford.
sold their players, Brentford, yeah.
Some
smart,
clubs
though,
make
isn't it?
stupid money. Southampton makes stupid money.
Stupid money, Southampton, yeah.
Southampton scouting. If you think about the players they've brought into the Prem, bro, it's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That season they sold nearly that whole
Toby
team, didn't they?
Alderweireld,
Yeah, they sold the whole team, yeah, I remember that.
I remember the season. So yeah.
Southampton deserve credit for their youth system as well because they produce. Like they're
Shaw, Oxlade,
Avi and
Walcott,
Lallana.
Lallana.
they've actually blessed the Premiership with a lot of talent. So let's shout out Southampton.
Yeah,
Southampton, shout out.
Ralph Hasenhuttl, my favorite manager. You know, I've got love for you. One day.
Oh, shit.
One day. Do you know why I like Ralph? Because he can play 4-4-2. And like Arteta hasn't proven that he can play that to me yet. I don't get why we
No
don't
confidence.
switch formations like that. Yeah,
So you got to have the right centre mids to do that, man.
we did. We had, you know, I think Matteo Guendouzi and Partey, they could be the Patrick Vieira and Emmanuel Petit. They're that similar.
Slow down.
Let me tell you why. At the minute, right, we've got Xhaka and Partey, right? Partey is comfortable passing the ball and running with the ball. Xhaka is only comfortable passing the ball. If you swap that with Guendouzi, Guendouzi's comfortable passing and running with the ball. So if you've got two guys that are good passing and running, attacks start quicker. That's the benefit of having Guendouzi in the team. The only thing with Guendouzi is he's got the body type of Ndidi, and I've got a similar body type, so I know what that means. You've got long legs, you can intercept the ball easy. Check his interception stats; it's high, bro. We've already got players at the team that can produce like this. We just have them on loan, and it's really annoying me.
Yeah, but back to Guendouzi, not being funny, but he goes down like a sack of shit when the wind blows. He expects a foul every time. He's definitely can't do that. Same with Jack Wilshere. Jack Wilshere's the same. He'll twerk on a man and then go down and expect a foul, and the referee's like, no foul, play on, and we concede. And Guendouzi acts like a child, and we've seen it for Berlin, and we've seen it for Arsenal. He's petulant. I like him, great baller, but he needs to he's got a kid in the way now. When he mans up and becomes more of a leader, then I want him in that squad. But he's got
French under 21 captain, and you're talking about.
He could be the German under 21 captain. I don't care, brother. I love him, I love him, but there's certain aspects of the game needs to change, and until then, he should be starting.
I get, but you know what? Like I said, it goes back down to like it's a tight summer. It's a tight summer, right?
Keep up. Yeah.
If you've got players like that, and it's a good test for Arteta's man management, and I think if he can manage to bring Matteo Guendouzi into the fold, it shows a good maturation for Arteta. Because so far, he's shown that he's clashed with players. Let's see if he can show love to players. That's what I want to see from Arteta next.
True.
For sure.
True. It's been a
I
good show.
can't say I want to see the same, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a good chat, lads. Hopefully, see you in the next one. Big up.
Hello. Had been a pleasure, man. See you, bro. Thank you for today.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. See you
You
later.
brought some good vibes, and I appreciate it.